And we are live. What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny, episode 69. Today I had to do it on Thursday because I had to leave by like 12 p.m. tomorrow for my trip back to visit family in South Florida. So I decided to take the time to make a live stream today just to get it out of the way for the week. And it's been a lot of news. It's been a news heavy week this week. So I hope you guys find this helpful and insightful. So today's topic, the angle I'm trying to go with on this live stream is I think this is an opportunity to kind of reform American politics, American government as a whole. And I think the biggest kind of example of this is this meme. Whenever you hear threat to democracy, this has been said a lot by establishment Republicans like Liz Cheney, a bunch of never Trumpers, never Trumper Republicans. And really, when they say threat to democracy, they mean threat to bureaucracy. Shout out to Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk, interesting news that came out recently, is breaking news, right? Trump vows to create Elon Musk's recommended government efficiency commission to audit entire government. And I think this is a great idea, especially for the more people who are more libertarian minded, who see that the government is riddled with inefficiencies. Like I already stated numerous times on this channel. One example, Department of Education, how you spend more money in education, yet the quality of education gets worse and worse. That sounds like a bad trade to me. So the idea that he's going to try to bring in Elon Musk for this proposal is such a great idea. And this really is a threat to bureaucracy because end of the day, bureaucracy is just something created just for the sake of creating it. And this is how a lot of these government agencies, these government programs end up becoming. How the Department of Welfare, right, was supposed to be created to reduce poverty, yet poverty returned back to the same level pre the Department of Welfare. Like, make it make sense. You guys have metrics where you're supposed to be, the agency is supposed to hold themselves accountable to, yet they're failing the very metrics that they're using to measure the performance of the government, and it's not losing any resources. There's no incentive for the government to actually be efficient. And this is a problem. I think this is why many people want reform in our government. And I think this is what's leading this kind of resurgence, this coming together for many people aligning behind Trump, especially with the the debates coming up soon. I think this is a very important reform. Here's the video. I want to play it for you guys right here.
Fourth, at the suggestion of Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice, 'cause he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's very, very much appreciated. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now.
And this is the biggest kind of reason why I want to vote for Donald Trump, because I want to incentivize this more. Like you create something that actually makes the government better. You actually change the incentives in the government. If the government knows that, hey, we can't just spend government money and resources and be entitled to these resources, eventually this commission is going to come in and pretty much afuera us out of the government. You create an incentive for them to actually perform and actually value efficiency, because this is what happens. I think what Donald Trump's going to mention it here in this speech, but we waste trillions of dollars of mismanagement, misspending, fraud comes in and take some of the taxpayer money. Like this is the kind of efficiencies that we should be looking out for. And I think this is a great way to making the government more efficient. So I'll continue with the clip.
And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. Be interesting. If he has the time, that'd be a good one to do it. But he's agreed to do it. In 2022, fraud and improper payments alone cost taxpayers an estimated hundreds of billions of dollars. As the first order of business, this commission will develop an action plan to totally eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months. This will save trillions of dollars, trillions. It's massive. For the same service that you have right now, trillions of dollars is wasted and gone, and nobody knows where it went. Further taming inflation and bringing prices way down.
And imagine that. And you got like imagine. And then people have the goal to get mad at you, right? Because you want to vote for Donald Trump, right? When I say, hey, Donald Trump's the more competent candidate between Kamala Harris and him, you get left wing guys on my comment section chastising me for saying that. Imagine that. But look at what Donald Trump's proposing versus what Kamala Harris is proposing, and I got some videos to highlight the differences in the contrast. But I also want to highlight that the establishment or the bureaucracy, however we want to call the deep state, is another names for this managerial administrative class. It seems like whenever these glitches, these technology glitches always happen, it always seems to favor the Democrats, right? You got Steph Curry out here endorsing Kamala Harris, and he's speaking on behalf of Kamala Harris. And I don't give a damn, honestly. But this is some of the things that I have noticed with what is going to happen when when you attempt to reform the government a little bit, reform American politics, because again, essentially, the government, no, the politics is being managed by a certain interest group that only wants you to have a certain view of how politics should go, right? You got celebrities endorsing only one candidate. You got these tech glitches from like Alexa telling you that you should vote for Kamala Harris, and then not telling you reasons why you shouldn't, why you should not vote for Kamala Harris, right? Oh, I'm not allowed to tell you any political candidate yet. I'm gonna tell you a political candidate called Kamala Harris. They don't have the video here, but I can find it. And this is the kind of thing that like I'm starting to notice a lot in our politics is that we it's like a management, like we're being managed by these people, right? And I got a video, interesting video. Mark Cuban, he's making the news, and he's gonna get kind of exposed. Like he kind of let the quiet part out loud that he's privy to information that may or may not be publicly accessible and available. And this is the kind of backroom deals that is used to be so common in American politics. And I think that's one thing about Donald Trump's presidency that has really opened my eyes, is that a lot of more people are paying attention to politics than they ever did. Before Trump, no one, it was hard to even get anyone even interested in politics. Now, after Trump, politics has damn near become submerged within culture to the point where now people are sick of politics being in everything, such as movies, entertainment, right? Sports, right? Politics has infected everything merely because of the fact that Donald Trump became president in 2016. Donald Trump might go down as one of the most consequential, I guess, sparks in America politics, because he's doing something that hasn't been done since Abraham Lincoln. I'm being serious. The team of rivals, having people who are not politically aligned with you as part of your administration. Abraham Lincoln's vice president was a Democrat, and he has RFK, which I'm gonna go into it, but we're gonna talk about Mark Cuban because he's gonna sit here and try to defend Kamala Harris's dumb tax plan. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, Trump is the more competent candidate. Trump has the better vision for the economy. Yet you still have people, you still have Kamala supporters who would still try to make the argument that actually, no, Kamala Harris is the more competent candidate. But I digress. Enough of me rambling. Let's get into the video.
On this unrealized tax issue, gain issue, and where we've talked about, those who are taking loans against their unrealized stock, et cetera, et cetera. And then they say, well, if you start to tax that, we won't be able to make investments in startups. We won't be able to give money over to venture capitalists and private equity folks and other things like that. What's your feedback to that distinction? Because I wonder, once there's a critique of one, then of one policy, and you get rid of that policy, then of course it moves to the critique of the next version of it.
Well, of course, but okay. So what I told him was, if you tax unrealized gains, you're going to kill the stock market, right? And it's going to be the ultimate employment plan for private equity, because companies are not going to go public because you can get whipsawed, right? I mean, my own personal experience back from the internet days, right? All of a sudden, I was cash poor, but equity rich, right? My net worth was enormous, but the number of dollars in the bank wasn't enormous. And so I'd have, based off of the unrealized gains, I would have had to borrow money, and I effectively would have been in hock just to pay my tax bill instead of trying to run my company, and 1,000 other reasons, right? So they realize that's the issue. I can't repeat it enough. Even though she's not directly conflicting the Biden tax plan, to her value proposition is we need to tax everybody fairly. I'm starting from the Biden.
So you notice how This is the problem with Kamala Harris, right? This is the problem with not having a policy platform on her website. This is the problem of her not doing interviews, right? She has all these surrogates coming out to defend her, saying stuff, pretty much putting words in her mouth that we don't know if it's actually coming from her or this is just a interpretation on Mark Cuban's part on trying to defend Kamala or trying to rationalize his choice for picking Kamala Harris for president. And this is the problem that you run with a lot of Kamala supporters run. Because when you ask a Kamala supporter, why do you support Kamala Harris? It's almost like they're making the argument. They're not like parroting something that is actually can be discoverable. Like you can't go on her website and be like, okay, this is why I'm supporting Kamala Harris. This policy right here. Because it seemed like everything that Kamala Harris has put out, it has been wildly unpopular and has already been tried in history and historically has shown to destroy the economy. And you're going to see Mark Cuban is essentially saying something like, oh, behind closed doors, I'm hearing something else. Or this is him trying to reinterpret what Kamala Harris is doing and is doing a little bit of wishful thinking for the outcome of what she's trying to do. But I digress. I appreciate you, Cheese Work. What's up?
Plan as a starting point, but that's not necessarily her ending
Mark,
point.
let me just say, I appreciate you calling in, telling us what you're hearing on these fronts. That's great. But as you've said yourself, you can't speak for the vice president. These are things they're telling you. Who knows what they're telling other people? My guess is they're telling anybody who's donating to them exactly what they want to hear at this point. What matters is what they say publicly and what they will stick to.
No, absolutely, positively not. Right? Let me just be very
I don't know.
clear
Like,
about
why do
that.
you think that they're telling you the truth and not telling other people other things?
Boom.
Well, I don't,
If they
look,
won't
I
say
can
it
tell you-
publicly, say it publicly. Tell all of us so that we
Well,
can
no,
hold you to it.
I get it, but you've got to get the details right. You can't just.
Yeah, but we have 60 days
talking,
till an election. Like, you're asking people to
Becky,
take a
even
flyer.
if it's the day before the election, right? Even if it's the day before. Look, the next question.
A day before the election, guys, would you feel comfortable voting for a candidate if a day before you have to vote for them, they list out all their policies? So you're telling me we got what 60 days until the election? Yes, exactly 2 months before the election, actually. September 5th. 2 months before the election, Kamala Harris released her policy positions a day before you're supposed to vote for her. Oh my God, that's not enough time. I don't think that's a good plan to do. But man, this is what happened when you put a candidate in 3 months in. Oh, and I got some commentary, guys. Appreciate you guys coming in. Cheeseworks says, great work, Kenny. I appreciate it. Dance with Incel says, Lauren Chen Chan Chung Lee got wrecked today, and now I'm so happy. Dance with Incels. Yeah, allegedly she's part of a scheme. I probably will cover it. I'll try to cover it because I think that's part of the political reform. Cheesework has some constructive feedback is that you should interact with commenters more in your videos. I also enjoy hearing the perspective from a Black American. I appreciate that. Okay. I was thinking about doing series like that, like maybe as a live stream, reacting to some comments that I find on one of my videos, and maybe making it a whole segment as part of my live stream, because I think it'll be like a long video if I sit here and try to react to every comment that I get on my comment section. But that's something I should do more often. I appreciate that feedback. She's works. I'll take it into consideration. Let me know in the comment section if someone's watching this on the replay or in the chat if you think that would be a good idea that as a segment of my show, I'll review some comments that I found on my videos and react to it and give my, live kind of feedback or counter or discussion or arguments against it. I'll be wondering if you guys will be willing to sit there. But as far as Mark Cuban goes, I don't understand this idea that people like why there's so much a run of defense for Kamala Harris, right? Kamala Harris came out and she says she's gonna ban or censor. What was it? Kamala says she will direct the DOJ to censor misinformation and hate speech, which does not sound like a good idea. That don't sound good to me, because hate speech and misinformation is a very subjective term, and I don't like arbitrary terms being used against American citizens to justify government censorship. But I digress. Let's check a clip of what she has to say, and then I'll highlight some of the problems that I have with Kamala Harris's statement here.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms, because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community. And
Hold everyone accountable but yourself, Kamala Harris. So I want to highlight a problem that I have with Kamala Harris here is because the mainstream media went back and kind of fact checked some of her statements. So breaking, CNN just found out that Kamala Harris is a liar. This is simply hilarious. Oh, you guys can't see it, but you'll see the video. So let's take a look at the video and some of the problems that I have with Kamala Harris.
Tonight, K-File investigates. In a new report, you'll see first out front. The K-File team scoured Kamala Harris's tweets and statements going all the way back to 2017. And what they found was more than 50 instances of Harris slamming Trump's border wall. But now, new Harris campaign ads actually showcase that very wall.
As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border.
And on top of critical tweets, Harris also wrote in her 2019 book, quote, "There was a bigger reason to oppose the border wall. A useless wall on the southern border would be nothing more than a symbol, a monument standing in opposition to not just everything I value, but to the fundamental values upon which this country was built. How could I vote to build what would be little more than a monument designed to send the cold, hard message, keep out?" Well, K-File's Andrew Kaczynski.
That should count as hate speech, right? And it's so ridiculous, like the fact that this is why I think Kamala Harris can't win, bro. Kamala Harris represents the establishment kind of uniparty, right? She's talking about not going back, but she's a symbol of going back. Kamala Harris is a symbol of going back. But look at Trump's campaign. Like I keep pointing it out because look, I'm an independent, like I'm a registered independent, and a part of Trump's appeal right now in 2024, I think this is the best campaign he's ever run, mainly because of the fact that he's not listening too much to the rhinos. I think 2016 Trump, he listened a lot to establishment Republicans. He talks about how he filled a lot of his positions with establishment Republicans, and it backfired in his butt because when he tried to create the border wall, they sided with the Democrats and kept them from getting the border wall, right? And then in 2020, 2024, people used the fact that he couldn't build a wall, like I forgot her name, Ann Coulter or something, not recognizing the establishment Republicans played a part into derailing his attempts at building the wall. Nowadays, in this ticket, you having former Democrats as part of your transition team, it almost seemed like, he is more representative of where America's at right now. Former Democrats, you got Republicans who are tired of the same old thing. You got the mega movement, the new right? The future of the party is essentially cemented if Donald Trump wins the election in 2024, right? But if he loses, it causes some weakness in the movement, and it gives the establishment Republicans an opportunity to try to reclaim influence and power back into the party. So I think I see this year as the cementing year of like, this is where mega becomes future. I still think mega will be future even if they lose this election, but I hope that's not the case. Let me interact with commenters. Cheeseworks says, even though after covering the remaining third, ever thought about covering the third-party candidates, Cornel West, I think he's a socialist. Jill Stein, socialist as well. Chase Oliver, a libertarian, and Randall Terry. Randall Terry, I'm not familiar with at all. I thought about it, but I just think they don't have enough name recognition to actually do a video on. But I am familiar with Cornel West. I know he's like an academic professor, I think. Jill Stein, she's the Green Party candidate, if I remember correctly. And Chase Oliver is the libertarian candidate that caused the whole uproar. I talked about them briefly, but not Jill Stein. But nah, I don't think they don't have enough brand recognition for me to actually comment on them. And I don't think many people know of them yet. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think I did my part with this video because what I want to highlight here is that she talks about misinformation here. And then here's a flashback from CNN highlighting how unpopular she was. Like, think about misinformation, disinformation, because that's what I want you guys to focus on this video. Because you see in the demographic right here, Fox poll says 61% of Americans say that Biden is mentally unfit to serve office. That If you had said it at the time this video came out, you would have been labeled, oh, misinformation, oh, it's cutted up videos, it's AI, it's deep fakes, right? Cheap fakes. What? That's what they were calling it, remember? And the government would, and Kamala will sick the GOJ for you being ahead of time. Make it make sense, guys. Right? And this is the kind of thing, this is the kind of danger giving government regulatory power over subjective, undefined, vaguely defined words like misinformation and hate speech. Like, what constitutes that? What is that? It's in a vague interpretation, it too easily becomes anything that I disagree with, anything I don't like, which is what the mainstream media did here when we questioned Biden's mental fitness. If you was part of the majority of Americans that thought that Biden was mentally unfit for president before the presidential debates with Donald Trump, you would have been right. But the media didn't want to give permission for people to have this opinion. And this is kind of the reform that I kind of want to happen in American politics, is the fact that free speech is being policed in real time. Look at Brazil. Look how they're attacking X. Look at the slander. They try to slander Elon Musk. Oh my God, X become a right-wing platform. If you're watching MSNBC, this is what they're telling you. Fear. They're using fear to really make people shy away from having or entertaining ideas. And a wise man once said that if you can control someone's speech, you can control their thoughts. Because if you're not allowed to express something, you're not allowed to think something as well. And I think this is the game that Democrats are trying to play. This is why they spam Trump bad all the time. Why? Oh, Trump's a convicted felon, and even that is up for doubt because of Steven Crowder did an expose essentially on the DOJ. They had a whistleblower expose the fact that it was politically motivated and it's a perversion of justice of what the DOJ did. And this is why I have a problem with Kamala Harris saying, I'm going to get the DOJ to hold people accountable for misinformation, disinformation, because it could be a perversion of justice. But I digress. I won't let the clip play.
Sort of this, the left-wing media giving Biden their 2 cents on what he needs to do to secure another White House bid, and that would be ditch Kamala Harris before it's too late.
All citing Kamala's lack of favorability, and they're throwing out some wild cards as replacements. So we thought we'd pay our respects to America's most unpopular vice president, make a little Venn diagram, because we all know how much she loves Venn diagrams. I really.
So imagine this, and I appreciate Cheese Works. Yeah, make it make sense. It's a thing I grew up hearing. The Democrats must love the book 1984. It's their playbook. Actually, 1984 is based on socialism. And to be fair, Kamala Harris' dad is a Marxist, which I'll highlight too in the clip, because Donald Trump did an interview with Lex Freeman. But I want to highlight something too about Kamala Harris. I have a fly like buzzing around. It's been a hard day with all this rain. Kamala Harris was the most unpopular candidate before Joe Biden went on that debate with Donald Trump. And now she's supposedly the most popular candidate everywhere. She's so accomplished. She's so qualified. But she is, on record, the most unpopular vice president in recent memory. And now she's a presidential candidate, and you expect for me to believe that she's competitive. This is crazy. This shows you, look, Malcolm X, he had it right about the media. The media is the most dangerous entity in the Western Hemisphere. It can make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. Truer words have never been spoken about the media. She went from being, this is what the media was saying about her. Biden urged to dump Kamala. Someone that is urged to dump Kamala overnight because it benefits the bureaucracy, right? This is the joke on this channel. This is going to be the running joke of this channel. Threat to democracy means threat to bureaucracy. That's what it means. And now you expect me to believe that, oh, yeah, she's popular, accomplished VP. She's qualified. But look at her approval ratings. I expect her to do change, make great significant change. I expect her to improve my lines while she's currently in the part of the administration right now, she has the lowest approval ratings out of any vice president in recent memory. groupthink, big brother, thought crime. This is mental conditioning. And I wanted to highlight with the 1984 reference that Cheese work brung up. 1984 is based on socialist tactics. If you look at books about socialism, Lenin talks about it. He talks about repetition. Repeat a lie often enough, and the people will believe it to be true. Right? That's part one. So that means, and this is the part of the media that the media does, because there's so much of them. 97% of U.S. journalists are Democrats. 89% of coverage, the media coverage on Trump is negative, while 87% of media coverage is positive. I did a video on this, I believe. It mentally conditions a lot of people into thinking Trump bad. Crazy. I'm like, yo, we being propaganda. And then when they get mad when conservatives, Republicans, independents call them propagandists. They wonder why Americans don't trust the mainstream media. Because essentially you're acting like the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. I digress. Let's look at how effective the media is at changing public perception. And this should be scary. This is why I say we need to reform American politics. The only way you can reform American politics really is we have to get control of the knowledge distribution system, which is the internet, social media. This is why they want to control social media. This is why they want big tech to censor people so much, because knowledge distribution is a threat to bureaucracy, right? Not threat to democracy, guys. Threat to bureaucracy. That's the running joke in this channel. When they say threat to democracy, is threat to bureaucracy. Coded language, double speak, socialist famous tactic points. I digress. Let's continue.
We all know how much she loves Venn diagrams.
I really love Venn diagrams. You know, the circles, right? 3 usually.
Patsy.
Oh. Our findings show that from the list of suggested replacements, the only people who fit Biden's requirements would be L.A. Mayor Karen Bass, Senator Tammy Duckworth, and Congresswoman Lauren Underwood of Illinois.
And Biden better act quick, because not even Nancy Pelosi is able to defend Kamala Harris anymore. Watch this.
Is Vice President Kamala Harris the best running mate for this president?
He thinks so, and that's what matters.
Do you think she is the best running mate, though?
She's the vice president of the United States. So when people say to me, well, why isn't she doing this or that? I said, because she's the vice president. That's the job description. You don't do that much.
You don't do that much as vice president.
You don't do that much as vice president, but she's the most accomplished. It's no wonder none of her voters can name her accomplishments as VP. What has Kamala Harris done as VP? This is wow. Wow. You don't do much as VP. Final last words for Kamala Harris's campaign. But I'm supposed to, she's the most qualified candidate ever. Right? And it's tough to make you, it almost make you cry, bro. Like the way it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous at this point, bro. So, bro, I needed some humor, man. I need some humor, guys. I think we all need some humor. So I recently found a channel called Freedom Tunes. I heard it was ran by someone close to Tim Pool. I forgot his name. I appreciate you guys if you like the stream. Thanks, Cheese Work. I appreciate you guys for liking the stream. But I want to give you this cartoon just to laugh. This is about Kamala's tax plan, because honestly, you gotta laugh about this stuff, man. You gotta laugh about this stuff, because it is baffling to me how the race is so close. Kamala's like within one. You got some polls have her up by 6 points. Swing states are undecided. Like independent voters, bro. Yeah, we need. This is why I say I want to stay independent, because I want to talk to the majority people in America. Apparently, 51% of Americans are independent, are registered independents now. Yeah, we can't vote for this. All right, come on, my fellow independents, we can't vote for this, please, because this is how I feel about Kamala Harris. Let's play. I'm tired of holding you guys up. Let's play this.
We're gonna tax them. 25% on unrealized gains. That's gonna crash the entire economy.
Bro, you ain't got 100 million.
Huh? No, her plan would crash the stock market. That hurts working people. It hurts everyone.
Bro, They don't understand that we're interconnected as a like. End of the day, like this is the funny part about socialists. They always talk about how we're all interconnected. We're all, but they don't realize that yo, if you hurt the rich, you in some ways hurt the people because end of the day, a lot of us we don't have the capital to like really be self-employed and all this stuff. Someone hires out our services, and someone has to provide the resources to pay for our services. And if you tax the rich, the people who make $100 million, it's going to create a change in behavior that may not be so good for us in the long term. I'm just a Republican, so I vote in the primaries. Otherwise, I'm an independent. Yeah, that's what I think too. Cheese work. Like that's one thing. I'm too passive. Like I sit back and I'm like, technically, I play no part in the primary. Like I almost registered Republican just to vote for Vivek, but he didn't make it to Florida, so I stayed an independent. I think that's why. But yeah, technically, because most of the time, I'll say 80% on the time, I agree with the Republicans on most issues. So it's usually the social issues that I differ from some Republicans, or that's the perception anyway. But I don't want to talk too much about it. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris, though.
Oh, you complaining? You ain't even got 100 million, bro. Bro, why you worried?
Well, because...
You think you gotta pay the wolf? Damn, bro, you don't got 100 million, bro.
You don't understand. My concern is that forcing the best performing stockholders to sell off 25% of their earning shares would completely crash the market forever. And all we stand to gain is enough to pay for less than 1% of Kamala's proposed budget.
Bro.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You don't got 100 million, bro.
You don't have 100 million, bro. I honestly, that's the kind of commentary you will hear. Oh, y'all don't gotta worry about this tax. It only affects 100 million. But then he's trying to explain how it's gonna like a cascade effect is gonna happen, and people don't care. They're like, yo, you don't got 100 mil, bro. Yo, should I finish? Let me finish this. This is uplifting right now. I feel not crazy.
You don't know you don't got 100 million. No, you don't got 100 million.
Okay, the best case
There you
scenario.
go.
Best case. It raises enough to fund the government for less than 3 days. 3 days. That's what you want to risk the entire economy on. 3 days of revenue. You understand?
Bro, you ain't listening. I'm telling you. Bro, you ain't don't listen. I got 100 million. Bro, this guy think he got 100 million. This brother. I know.
You know they say injustice for one is injustice for all. Just like this is the funny part. Like imagine if they're like let's say we lived in the Jim Crow days, and there's a law that specifically targeted black people, and then you as the non-black person says, yo, this is not right. We shouldn't be treating people this way, bruh. You're not black. It's not going to affect you. Like make it make sense. This is discrimination. Like yo, imagine that. Like who could make a policy platform targeting a minority? Because in a technical aspect, the rich are a minority. I mean, I'm just saying, right? But if you target any other person based on any other metric, we'll be saying this is wrong, this is racist, this is that. And honestly, I'm tired, bro. So let's get back into Trump's like creation of the coalition. I want to highlight like what really made me, think about talking about like the reformation of politics is this interesting interview with Joe Rogan. Hopefully he doesn't copyright me, but usually the live stream warn you when you're about to go over the copyright limit. So I want you guys to listen to this conversation between Joe Rogan and I forgot the guy's name, but he talks about the refounding of the country. Essentially, Donald Trump has an opportunity, and this is one of the reasons why I want to stress this enough, is that even if you don't like Trump, the movement that's following behind Trump, the movement that Trump is inspiring in this country, I think it's beneficial for all Americans because it's focused on American interests first, foreign interests last. That's what I'm voting for. That's what I'm trying to reinforce in politics. You're trying to send, as an American voter, I think we should try to send a signal, especially as independents. We should be sending a signal saying, hey, you got to prioritize us because we're the one who pay all these taxes, as you saw from the cartoon. We pay these taxes. We vote you in. We maintain the infrastructure. We make America this country it is. And you can't just be squandering our wealth and then sending it to foreign countries while we take 100% of the bill. We pay, I don't know how many billions we sent to Ukraine, and then we get nothing for it. Like, we get nothing for those $1 billion tax money we just sent. Like, end of the day, we have to understand opportunity cost. The opportunity of spending that much billions of dollars, what could have else it could have been used for if we didn't send it to Ukraine? And I think that's the kind of policy and the politic that should be the center of American policy. Do you believe the U.S. should leave NATO, Kenny? I do. I honestly believe, because see Cheese Work, you're derailing the show, but I think this is why I have live streams, because I get to interact with you guys in real time. I just read a book called War on the American Republic, and it talked about the history of how NATO was created. Essentially, it was created after World War II, if I remember correctly. And it was a means of spreading social democracy. Now, as you know, that was a part of the agenda for the liberal world order, right? Liberalism, that fun stuff. And this idea of a mixed economy. And that's what NATO was created for. It doesn't benefit you. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't benefit us at all. All it really does, like, people who complain about the military industrial complex, then if you disagree, if you don't like the military industrial complex, you should not be a fan of NATO, because essentially that's what NATO was created for. The military industrial complex. You come in, you start a fight with a country, you kill their dictator, you propped up some puppet in their election. Your puppet in the election wins. Then he gets into power. Then he tries to double cross America, and then America got to take him out and put someone else in. Like, this is the game that NATO essentially is playing. This is why NATO is so I don't know how to say that word, antagonistic. They're so anti-Russia. Because allegedly, and this is me, look, guys, I'm doing this off the top of my head. I read so much books. I sometimes I mix up information. I believe Putin tried to join NATO, and that was during Bill Clinton, 1995. Look, I'm rehearsing history. I wasn't even born yet. I'm born in 96. I wasn't even born yet, and I know this. Bill Clinton, I think, was in discussions with Putin about joining NATO, and then later he reneged on it and said, "Oh no, I can't let you join NATO," because the whole purpose of NATO was to be against Russia. Like, make it make sense. Essentially, NATO's alliance of states. Of nations ganging up on Russia. That's pretty much what it is. But to me, it's a form of, like, I wouldn't call it a world government, but it's essentially an order, like, hey, we want to spread democracy. And this is why a lot of our foreign aid, we put this stipulation, if you want money from the U.S., like in Africa, I forgot what country it was, Kamala Harris was like, I'm going to withhold funds from your country because you don't have enough, you haven't expanded LGBTQ rights in this country. This is why the BRICS movement is taking off, because in BRICS, they just loan you the money. They're like, hey, look, as long as you can pay us the interest on this loan, pay us back the money with interest, here's the money. And governments like that, because compared to the US dollar, when the US give you foreign aid, it's like, okay, you got to change your system. We want these policies in your country. It's crazy. And yes, we are flooding the entire bill. And this is why they're scared of Elon Musk getting that committee. Like, imagine if the government efficiency committee gets created. This is what I'm talking about. Reform. Because if the government efficiency committee gets created, Elon Musk is going to be like, yo, you should have got out of NATO years ago. And Trump's going to be like, I know, but I listened to the wrong people. That's what Trump's going to tell Elon Musk. Because it's not efficient to be spending on, like, how is it that we pay the largest amount into NATO, yet we're the least at threat from an invasion from Russia? Make it make sense. We pay more into NATO than the entire countries combined in NATO. Individual countries. When the countries, if you calculate the entire contributions from the countries that's aligned with NATO, they pay more than the U.S. But the U.S., it takes all of them to pay more than the U.S. Imagine that. We pay more damn near half the bill by ourselves. Waste of money. Money that can be going. Like, to me, I'm at the point, I agree with Trump. I'm at the point that, y'all should be paying us, because it's our military that's going to go in and protect your land. It's our weapons you're going to use to defend yourself. So Germany can pretend, look how good we are. We don't have an army. Yeah, you just rent ours. That's what it is. We're like a mercenary state at this point. This is why the military industrial complex, that's why it exists. That's why we have military bases all around the world. Because we're the world's police. We're a mercenary state. But imagine, if it was a mercenary state, in my vision, as from a nationalist point of view, I'm like, you should be paying me to have my citizens, my army in your country. Like, you should be paying me. Like, y'all should be putting out bills the same way we give foreign aid package to all these countries. These countries are gonna be like, oh, here's the $10 billion check to America for their military. Because nearly the reason why these countries, these European countries, can sit here and grandstand on the fact that they don't have military, they don't have a military, they don't have an army, is because our army is their protection. It's a dependency. This is what I'm saying. Like, NATO is wholly dependent on the U.S. Army, the U.S. military. This is why government spending is always justified. This is why military spending is always justified. Because the military doesn't exist just to protect Americans' borders. It exists to protect all the aligned countries in NATO. And we're paying into NATO. And I make it make sense. Like, we don't benefit at all from this. This is a bad deal. This is what Trump is talking about. This is a bad deal. Now, I'm done railing on NATO, but this is what I'm trying to impress upon people. And this is what I think Joe Rogan and many people are seeing. The European countries don't have their own military, or if they do, it's at a limited capacity because they can get away with it because they know, yo, the US got us. The US is gonna come. Like, they can't, like, pretty much we're big brother. Like, you know how, you got a kid in the street, he can't fight his own battles, but his big brother can fight. And you don't want to bother him because if you beat up his little brother, he coming for you. That's America. That's pretty much America. I just explained foreign policy like it's a backyard school fight. Yes, that's exactly how NATO works. You can't invade Germany. U.S. is going to intervene. This is why Ukraine is trying to join NATO now. He's like, yo, big bro, I need your protection too. This is why Trump says, yo, y'all need to pay us because it's our resources we're wasting. We're paying. Imagine that. Our tax money is paid to maintain the military and also contribute into NATO's alliance. Like, come on. Wasteful spending. This is wasteful. This is not efficient. This is what we'll need. Elon will surely actually drain the swamp. Yeah. And I think Trump recognizes that. That's why he has RFK in there. He has the Tulsi. He got people with vendetta. So he's like, oh, yeah, I got the wrecking crew. He's literally the political Avengers. That's why I call the coalition. That's what he should. It would be funny if he called it that, but people say it's cringe. I don't think it's cringe, but some people think it's cringe. But I digress. I want to hear Joe Rogan's perspective on this because it's hitting at a sentiment that I think many people are identifying with the mega movement just for this reason and this reason alone. Let's take a look.
So, I don't know. I do think unity is the right message. I think this is exactly the moment at which people do come together because many people feel the jeopardy. I sincerely hope that what President Trump discovered when he brought Bobby Kennedy on board continues to grow in his mind, because I think actually he has the potential to lead a massive movement to restore the republic and make it function, and that would be, I think it would be wonderful for him. I think he would go down in history as not the polarizing figure that people seem intent on turning.
No, that the media seems on intending to create. Remember, I already said, I'm keep saying it. The liberal media has a bias. 89% negative coverage on Donald Trump. The media's creating that. That's not organic. That's manufactured. They're making him, they're trying to create an illusion of Trump, the divider in chief. But that's why I say, yo, I bet you when someone gets, like, if you meet a Trump deranged person, right? 58% of Democrats trust the mainstream media. Legacy media cover Trump 89% of the time negatively. You can say, yo, that's just a narrative crafted by the media. But if you look at all of his sit-down interviews, I bet you will find something you like about Donald Trump. No way I could like him. That's why the Cole Shanahan Trump derangement ad was so effective. I did a video on it. I did a live stream on it last week.
Him into, but he would go down in history as a galvanizing figure, as really a refounder of the country. I know that will be hard for many people who have thought ill of him to swallow, but I don't know what you think, but the joining of the Trump campaign and Bobby Kennedy
and Tulsi.
Yo, what Trump is doing, dog, he could literally make history. Like, literally, this guy can make history. And people and they want me to believe Kamala Harris, Marxist Kamala Harris. Who's gonna bring us closer to socialism? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Because people are trying to make this claim that Donald Trump is going to bring out social. Oh, he got former Democrats. No, these people are just like, yo, I want to make America healthy again. I want to make America safe again. Hey, Tulsi, if Tulsi gets in there, I want her to be the chief of the foreign. I forgot the foreign ambassador or something. I don't know, but I bet she'll be in Trump's ear saying, "Yo, NATO ain't it. NATO's not it." But this is why people like Trump, man. Like people, the media tries to get you focused on his personality, hate his personality. Oh, he's arrogant. He's this. He's that. And I'm telling you, focus on the outcome. Focus on what foundation Trump can set for the next generation, for the next politician. Because end of the day, all the future politicians, they're looking at what's happening in 2024. Whatever happens in 2024 will set the stage for 2028. If Trump wins 2024, everyone knows, okay, the country's here. The country stated that they like this mega thing. They like the fact that former Democrats, Republicans, a team of rivals, people from both, like, from bipartisanship, independence, they like the fact that Trump and Robert F. Kennedy didn't focus on things they disagreed in. They focused on things they did agree on and actually worked to attempt to fix the problems that they noticed in America. And then you create a new incentive structure, because end of the day, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. America, if you want different politicians, you want a different American politics, you have to create a different incentive. If I create an incentive where every time my son does his math homework, I reward him with candy, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. He's been on a tear with Cinnamon Toast Crunch lately. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? Let him 30 minutes of play on the Nintendo Switch. He plays Mario, right? I reward him for that. I incentivize him to continue doing that. But then, if my son does math homework and I punish him, I put him in timeout, I tell him go to his room, he can't go anywhere, he's grounded, he's going to associate negativity to doing his homework. And this is the incentive structure that I'm saying. Like, yo, it ain't even about Trump. It's about what do we want to see more of. Let's make Trump the baseline. Let's make Trump like the baseline for, okay, hey, you have to be somewhat close to what Trump is doing here. And that's how we set the standard. Because for too long, we have been able to let the media pretty much gaslight people into voting for a specific party. This is why they're so mad. This is why they hired Byron Stelter. Byron Stelter was the main reason Trump derangement syndrome took off. They hired him back. Why? Because they need him. They need him. They need him. People vote for Trump because they love his policies. People vote for Kamala Harris because they hate Trump. Exactly. If you want the Democrat parties to improve, they must lose in a big way. Yes. I've been saying this throughout my channel, right? In my scenario, like if Robert F. Kennedy was still running, my scenario was, hey, if you're a Democrat, you don't like Trump, you don't like Kamala, vote for Robert F. Kennedy. Because then if Robert F. Kennedy finished second and Democrats finished last place, that's dream scenario for me. That's dream scenario for me. But the fact that Robert Kennedy and Trump are aligned on pretty much they're unifying their party and they're going to be involved in each other's administration, bruh, it should be a landslide. It should be, but it's not, because of California, New York, Boston, and because of how much electoral votes those states have. California by itself has 50 electoral college votes. That's equal to some states out here. Imagine that. They sway the election. This is why the Democrats love sanctuary cities. This is why they all of them, 100% of Democrats voted against the bill that would only count American citizens as part of the census. as part of the population that determines the electoral college votes for the states. This is why. Because sanctuary cities are used for attracting migrants to their states to inflate their population numbers to give them more electoral college votes and more seats at the House. This is a short-term play. This is why they care about illegal so much. This is why they import illegal so much. This is why they go into debt. They go to government budget shortfalls. In Chicago, my biggest example, $982 million shortfall just to house illegals into their state. Why? Because they see that as, oh yeah, you're giving us more electoral votes. You're giving our vote more impact on determining who's the president of the United States. This ish got to stop. And that's one way we have to reform the government. It's like, yo, you're only going to count American citizens. Because this is how the Democrats game the system to get more seats in the House. To make their vote count more towards the election. This is how they do it. Political. Democrats are the party of policy, political party over the country. And American voters, we have to put the incentive as, hey, before I'm a Democrat, before I'm a Republican, I'm an American. That's the incentive you have to put out for this election in 2024. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. It don't matter. I'm an American. We voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump got Tulsi Gabbard. He got Elon Musk. He got Robert F. Kennedy. This man building a political super team. He got some of the smartest men in the world helping him out. He's open to new ideas. In an interview, Elon Musk mentioned this idea. A couple of days later, after he chewed on it, he wants to implement it. Don't you want that in a president, that he's listening to the people? People say, hey, that's a good idea, Donald Trump. You should adopt it. Okay. For my black people, Ice Cube said during the 2020 election, Ice Cube said Donald Trump was the only one receptive to his suggestions for his plan for Black America. And Trump even asked him, hey, can I incorporate some of your policies into my platform? And Ice Cube said, yeah, you can do whatever hell you want with it. And that's how Donald Trump came up with the Platinum Plan 2020. Trump has shown he's willing to listen to the people. Don't you want that more in politicians? If yes, set the incentive, vote for Donald Trump. I didn't even mention I didn't mention his personality. I ain't say you got to vote for a convicted felon. I'm vote for the outcomes. Vote for the outcomes. But I know I digress. Let's listen to Donald Trump slam Kamala Harris about her being a Marxist.
And there's a lot of people listening to this, myself included, that doesn't think that Kamala is a communist.
Well, she's a Marxist.
Her father's a Marxist.
That's right.
And she's advocating.
It's a little unusual, you know.
She's advocating for some policies that are towards the direction of democratic socialism, let's say. And there's a lot of people listening to this, myself included, that doesn't.
What direction do you want the country to go? A country where a political party, people who are running against each other unite and want to agree on things that they want to focus on, things that they agree with? Or you want to vote for a party that wants you to drag you into socialism and reward a candidate that never won a primary vote, not good at speaking to people who are not Democrats? This is the critique against Kamala Harris. All you got to do is look at flashbacks of CNN's previous segments. They say, hey, she doesn't know how to talk to people in the middle or on the right. She only knows how to talk to that progressive California base because her political career was made in California, where all she had to do was talk to progressives, Marxists, leftists. Maybe liberal is as right as she had to talk to somebody, but all of them are on the left. Like, choose the incentive. Okay, I'm put Bobby Kennedy right for you guys, right? What role does Bobby Kennedy has in Trump's administration? Let's take a look.
Believe he's going to give you a real position, and what do you know of what that position might be?
Oh, yeah, I'm not, we're not talking about a particular position for me in the government. What the agreement was about, what our agreement about it is about a unity party, about unifying our party over certain objectives. And this will allow me to continue to disagree with President Trump on issues that I don't agree with him on, and him to disagree with me.
Doesn't that sound like an independence dream, right? Don't we want that kind of politics? Where, yeah, I don't agree with you on anything, but we do agree on let's create a coalition. Let's combine our parties together and work on the things that we agree on. Okay, you work on the health, Robert F. Kennedy. Okay, you concerned about CIA misusing their powers? You're the head of CIA too. Here you go. And you're not a Republican. You're your own party candidate. It's like electing. It's like what, like I said, it's like what Abraham Lincoln did. Abraham Lincoln made a Democrat his vice president. Yes, Abraham Lincoln. This is essentially what Trump's doing, except he's not going to be his vice president. He's going to probably be some other cabinet position. But he has influence in the administration. Isn't this what something we want in America? Like this is what I talk about with America. America, like I love when people complain online, like these the DeSantis supporters and people who said, "Oh my God, this is our politics. Oh, our politics is a joke." I'm like, yo, y'all voted for this. Oh, well, if you're a Democrat, you didn't vote for this, but still, you rewarded this. Like, if you're a Democratic voter, you rewarded the Democratic Party for that by voting for Joe Biden. You rewarded this. You didn't want Joe Biden. Majority of you Democratic voters said they didn't want Joe Biden. Joe Biden still ended up becoming the nominee. No consequence. They swap him out for Kamala Harris. No consequence. Y'all just go, I guess Kamala's a girl now. We're going to go behind her. That's what y'all did. Incentives. Either you reward incentives or you punish actions. That's it. If they win, best and believe you're going to get more candidates not putting policy on their platform. I bet you all that.
The issues that we agreed on were ending the war, ending the censorship and the surveillance state, and ending this war on our children. The chronic disease epidemic, which has now disabled about 60% of American children. When my uncle was president, Chris, 6% of American kids had chronic disease. Americans. Today it's 60%.
Yo, you got to look into that. Like, what's the government doing? How is it we getting unhealthier, but we're supposed to be more knowledgeable? Supposedly, we're supposed to be more healthier than we ever been, yet chronic disease is increasing, not decreasing? There's a problem there, but our government don't care. As long as they get to spend our money, use it for foreign favors, and enrich themselves at it's like looting the country. Every government has some form of corruption, but corruption has to be held accountable when it's found. And it seems obvious to me that our government right now is very corrupt. Threat to our democracy. No. Threat to your bureaucracy. That's the reality. They want to maintain this bureaucracy. This is why Liz Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris, a lady that in 2020, she said that she was radical. She pointed how radical, how destructive her policies is. And now 4 years later, she's behind her. Because they want to maintain the bureaucracy, not democracy. Because Kamala Harris wasn't democratically elected to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. That's the reality. So which way, America? Which way? I think I gave, do I want to go there? Do I want to go there? Brian Stelter. Do I have time for Brian Stelter? Yes, I have time for Brian Stelter. Because I want to bring up Brian Stelter. He's back. He's back. Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter is going to tell you how the media loves to craft narratives. And this is something that American voters, I caution you guys to be aware of what the media is trying to do when they try to frame things in a certain light. And I've been attacking media framings lately. Like the way they try to set stuff up, the way they load, like they ask these loaded questions to try to direct the flow of conversation towards a certain angle that they're trying to portray and project to the viewers. You guys got to be cognizant of that. And this is why I said that a more educated populace is a dangerous populace for these people, because it's harder to control someone who knows that you're trying to BS them. And Brian Stelter is the master of that. He's probably responsible for half of the negative coverage that came out about Donald Trump in 2016, if I remember correctly. Let's listen to Brian Stelter and how he helps create narratives.
It's about emails again. This time, emails from Joe Biden's son, Hunter. So let's take a look at how a storyline is manufactured. In this case, a loudly anti-Biden storyline, redounding to Trump's benefit. First, it helps to really view this as storytelling, not so much as news coverage, but as political entertainment, where crushing the other party is entertaining. Fox News, the beating red heart of the right-wing media machine, molds reality into a serialized TV drama. That's how Vox...
Wait, guys. The pot calling the kettle black. Now, if let's switch out Fox News and we put CNN. Does that statement make sense? How CNN molds reality into a serialized TV drama. Is that not what they do to Trump? Trump's a threat to democracy. He's an American Hitler. If he gets into office, he said it will be a bloodbath. He said he'll be a dictator on day one. We're not going back, Kamala Harris. Come on. I can't make this up. Bro, the man just explained what they do. And he's liberal projection. I love it. I'm going to call it the projection fallacy, the liberal projection fallacy. Every time the liberal try to project something that the other side is doing, it's likely he's guilty of the same thing. That's my fallacy check right there. I can end the video right here. Let's create storylines and create narratives around something to mold perception. How long I've been saying the media is a perception machine? They're not here interested in informing you. No. They don't get paid millions of dollars to inform you of the truth. They're here to inform you of a rationalization so they can mold your reality. Because for them, all that matters is your perception. Because for them, your perception is reality. If you believe a man can be a woman, then a man can be a woman because it's based on your perception. And perception is reality, right? This is the game they're playing. It doesn't matter if it's true that Donald Trump is an American Hitler. They just have to have you vote like he actually is one. This is the game the media is playing. This is why they hate independent content creators. Because we're going, we shouldn't be basing this on some framing from the media just because majority of them are spewing the same crap to make up a fake consensus, which is part of brainwashing, by the way. I talked about it in my last live stream about conformity, how conformity is killing critical thinking. This is how they do it. They create a false consensus, right? 5 out of the 6 major news organizations are left-wing. The only one that's not one is Fox News. How about that? The other 5 repeat the same thing, but all the other 5 are on the same team. Like, make it make sense. But people don't do enough research to notice that bias. Oh, I got my news from 5 different news sources. You only got your sources from Fox News. It must be fake. All the other 3 sources you're referencing are from left-wing news outlets. And this is the only right-wing news outlet that has the same amount of reach and viewership and size as the other 3. But you look like you're the more authoritative, the more objective one because 3 sources versus 1 is more. Yeah, 3 left-wing sources versus my 1 right-wing sources. Yeah, you're very objective there. This is the game. I digress. And it's scary because you saw how they mold reality. Kamala Harris, before Biden debate, worst vice president ever. Biden needs to dump Harris. Harris is the vice president. It's kind of her job not to do anything. After the debate, oh my gosh, she's the most accomplished VP ever. She's very charismatic. She's very qualified. Her achievements earn her the right to be the president, the next president of the United States. Look at the storyline. They're literally doing the same thing. They're telling you. Do you believe that it is the most important election? It's not the most important election because every election is the most important election because it's the most recent election. But I do believe it's a very impactful election. It's going to be a very influential election because essentially this election can make or break the direction or this movement because there's a movement right now that's trying to essentially create itself. I will equate the 2024 election to Abraham Lincoln's election, right? Because that was like a turning point, about slavery and people having these conflicting visions of how they want America to move forward. And I see 2024 in a similar light. Are we going to be a party of the neoliberals that like to go to war, like to gerrymander in other people's affairs, like to culturally push values on other countries? Or will we be a country, or we'll be a country that focus on ourselves, make our lives here better, be strong, but look out for our interests, act like an actual country, not a military service. This is why I'm saying that. Yeah, I get when people say it's the most important election of the year, but I think it's a consequential election. This is why they bring back Brian Stelter, because if it didn't matter, they wouldn't be doing all this. If elections didn't matter, They wouldn't be trying to craft this narrative. They wouldn't try to only give you negative news about Donald Trump. The left wouldn't do this if the elections didn't matter. So I think it does matter. I want to say it's the most important one because next year is going to be the most important one. 2027 is going to be the most important one. Then 2028, you get me? The most recent election is always going to be the most important election, right? But this consequential, historically, I think if we look back 20 years, we might look back to this moment and be like, yeah, 2024 is where either it went well or that's where everything went downhill. Because we could say 2020 was a consequential election. Imagine that. Imagine in 2020 when people said it was the most important election of the year in 2020. We put in Joe Biden. Everyone thought they would return to normal. Nope. There's no more normal after Joe Biden got in. You got record inflation, highest inflation rate in 40 years. We're living the consequences of the 2020 election. Now, given all that, do you want to stack another Democrat presidency on top of what we just experienced already? Or you want to roll back some of those policies? That's what that's how I'm gonna frame it. Let's hear Brian 30 more seconds and then I'll move on to the next segment.
Recently put it. Think Lost or 24. Think Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad. Think Westworld or The Wire. Every day, every night, there are what appear to be new developments in this entertainment drama. Some new twist to keep you watching. A new storyline was introduced right on time. There it is, the New York Post front page announcing Biden's secret emails. More shadiness involving Hunter Biden. As political entertainment goes, this is not a brand new TV show. It's just a new season of the show. Hunter Biden's business dealings in Ukraine were a key part of the plot last season in the impeachment of President Trump. Hunter has already apologized. Well, he's already admitted to poor judgment and swampy behavior. His father has said that it will not happen again. And at this point, most people have moved on. But Trump needs a closing argument. So he and his media allies usually rely on whataboutism, right? So you ask about the Trump.
That is rich. That is rich coming from them. Whataboutism is like the liberals' favorite tactic. Like, I don't know what Brian Stokes is talking about here, but it's cherry picking arguments. Like I said, it's liberal projection. Anything they accuse you of doing, they in themselves are guilty of, right? And I'll end it off here. Not end it off here, but to cement my point, like, we got Kamala Harris supporters here.
For all the people that will be voting for Donald Trump, what would be your message to try to get them to vote for Kamala Harris?
Just ask, do you really want to lose all your rights and live under a bone-grinding dictator? And then go ahead.
There goes that storyline, right? Right? Kamala supporters. And they're talking about Donald Trump has to have an anti-Biden narrative. No. The whole Democratic platform right now is an anti-Trump narrative. Terry Lewis asks, do they really believe this ish? I guess so, right? 58%. I already told you, 58% of Democrats trust the mainstream media. The mainstream media, 89% of the time, covers Trump negatively. Of course they believe it. If the news that they trust says that Trump is bad and he will be a dictator and that you lose all your rights if he wins re-election, they're going to believe it. Talk about storylines, huh, Brian Stelter? There goes the storyline. You know who should do it? Jesse Waters should do this. Jesse Waters should recreate Brian Stelter's segment about how they craft narratives and storylines with political news and make it towards the left. Because that's exactly what they're doing with Kamala Harris. Coconut pill, right? Making her seem like this influential, consequential candidate. When months ago, hey, man, I think Biden should dump Kamala Harris. Pick a new VP. That was the talks. 6 months later, Trump destroys Biden in a debate, and now she's the most qualified candidate ever. She accomplished so much. You better put respect on Harris's name. Yeah, the VP with the lowest approval ratings. Yeah, I'm going to put respect on her name, all right. But look at the voters.
And vote for Trump, and you're welcome to what you get.
But the thing that worries me is that many of his followers don't think.
Yeah.
They just don't think.
Do you guys think it's strange that Joe Biden got sick and then all of a sudden Kamala was next to be in line? Do you think that was planned for Joe Biden to get sick and to replace him with Kamala?
No, not planned. No. If he'd felt, I believe, completely physically and mentally well, he would not have dropped out. But I think that a number of wise people,
Especially Nancy Pelosi,
exactly,
who's from San Francisco. We love her.
talked to him frankly 2 or 3 times and said, "Look, you're clearly right now in a physical and mental decline. Best thing on."
But when Trump voters, right, the Fox News poll showed it, 61% of people believe that Biden was mentally unfit. Y'all called us, oh, you're spreading misinformation. These are cheap fakes. Remember? Green Jean-Pierre saying, no, there's nothing wrong with Biden. Biden is perfectly fine. But look at all these instances of him mentally declining, physically declining on stage. No. Those are just gaffes. He just misspoke. He just this. Excuses. But Trump supporters are not the one. But Trump supporters Trump followers, Republican followers, Trump supporters, they can't think. Make it make sense. Maurice Kelly says, I walked away from the Democratic Party in 2008 after I voted for Obama. Big mistake. Maurice Kelly, you're like my father. My father did the same thing. My father in 2008 voted for Obama. And then one of the main reasons he voted for Obama is like Obama ran on common sense stuff like the border, right? He said you shouldn't come here illegally. Obama said all that stuff. Well, what really made my dad vote for Obama was when he said that if he didn't win the 2008 election, it's not because of racism, it's because he was unable to articulate a vision for America. My dad was like, I'm gonna vote for this guy. This guy sounds like he's gonna be a good candidate. My dad said the same thing. Big mistake. And that year, I think after 2012, my dad voted for Mitt Romney. He told me, yo, don't let no one tell you have to vote Democrat because of your skin color, because Democrats are all talk. That's what my dad said anyway. How old was I? 2008. I'm trying to remember, guys. I'm pretty young. I'm 28 years old. So that would have been what? 18 years ago? No, not 18 years ago. That's too much time. 16 years ago. I was 12 years old. Yeah. I was 12 years old when Obama won 2008. And then, no, not 2008. I'm going 2012. And then I was 12 when Obama won 2008. And then when I turned 16, Obama was running for re-election. My dad was telling me, I was 16 years old. He was telling me, don't let no one tell you got to vote Democrat because of your skin color. He said, that's dumb. You vote based on your values, your principles, what you believe is right. Don't let anyone try to shame you into voting Democrat, right? And then 2 years later, after that conversation with my father, 2016 came. No, not 2 years. It was like what, 2014, graduating high school. The voter ID cards came. And then my mom tried to tell me to put Democrat. And I was like, I don't know what Democrats stand for. I ain't going to put Democrat. And I've been an independent ever since. 10 years. 10 years I've been an independent, not a Democrat, independent. But I digress. So Steven Crowder, this is going to be the last segment for my live stream. I appreciate you guys all coming out. I appreciate the conversation, the back and forth in the chat. I do need some water, but I'll tough it out. It's not much longer that I have. I think I got like 10 more minutes before I call it a night. So here's Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder is going to expose that the DOJ chiefs admit that Trump indictments is a politically motivated perversion of justice. Now, I mean, water is wet. Like, people know this. Like one of the dead giveaways that it was politically motivated was the fact that when Trump tried to appeal and stated obvious, which is to me was substantial evidence that he was in a biased jurisdiction, the county that he was getting tried for it overwhelmingly voted Democrat. So he's like, yo, the jury pool is 95% contaminated. Like the odds are against me that I'm gonna get a jury that is biased against me merely because of my political affiliation. Can I change venues? The judge said, hell no. The minute they did that, you already knew it was politically motivated. From then on, I didn't trust the process. I said, yo, that's a good argument. Hey, I'm a political figure. I'm a Republican president, right? I'm in a Democratic jurisdiction. This place voted 90% for the Democrat. You're going to pick a jury from this district, move me somewhere else that's more moderate where I will have a fairer trial. They said no because they want to play on this narrative. Trump's a convicted felon. They want to create a storyline, right, Brian Stelter? I'm telling you, this liberal projection fallacy, yo, it works every time. Every time a liberal say something, best believe they're guilty of doing the same thing in some level, in some way. Appreciate you, Maurice Kelly. So let's check out what Steven Crowder has to say. It's 13 minutes long, but I'm probably not going to play the whole video. I just want to play enough where we can get some of the information from this DOJ chief.
Unwitting whistleblower? Yeah. Nicholas Biasi is the chief of public affairs for the Department of Justice's Southern District of New York. Something you may be familiar with, and the most prominent federal trial court in America.
Those felonies did nothing to stop Trump from running.
No, in fact, they made him more relevant.
Did that backfire?
Sure did. And the whole thing is disgusting. They're just out to get him. And that's why, like, he's surging in the polls. It's a perversion of justice. Yeah.
Now, when I was talking about reforming American politics, right? And I appreciate the sentiment, Chris Cheese work. He says that I'm his favorite political commentator. I appreciate that. I try to be free. I try to be common sense, right? I try to be the change that I want to see in the world, right? Because what they say, stop complaining what a good man is, be one. So I'm trying to be that. I'm trying to be the thing that I want to see more in the world, right? And one of the things I want to see more from media is to cover stuff fairly, to be consistent in your criticism. If you're going to give a hardball interview, like, for instance, Dana Bash is a perfect example of the problems that I point out in the media. Dana Bash, when she's talking to a Republican, standoffish, mean, confrontational, ready to debate everything he says. When it comes with a Democrat, smiling, happy, open. Oh, hey, how's your kids? Oh, kind, open, not hostile. And my problem with the media is they're not consistent. I wouldn't have a problem with Dana Bash if it wasn't so obvious that she treats her guests differently based on her political affiliation. Why would this man admit all of this? He was on a date. He was on a date, I think. I don't know. I don't know why he would admit it. Maybe he felt guilty. Who knows? But apparently, it doesn't seem like he knows he's being recorded. That's what I'm taking from this, right? That's what I'm taking from this. It's like the Project Veritas on the date. These dudes always bragging about what they do for a living, and they always like to talk about, oh, look, I'm the inside. I'm in the inside. I'm in the inside. Let me spill tea. Let me give you some information. Right? But let's listen more.
He was stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case. No, to be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense.
State levels are Wild West. They're like idiots. They don't care. They're all political. So yeah, this guy's probably going to try to lock him up, and it's going to be ugly. They're so obsessed with getting him.
Who is they?
Alvin Bragg, yeah, who I've known for 15 years.
But remember, Alvin Bragg ran on the fact that he was going to get Trump. He was going to prosecute Trump. So he had a political motive to actually get Trump convicted in the courts. Like the appearance of bias is enough to get a case dismissed or retried somewhere else. But no, they didn't want to let it go. They want to pretend, oh, we're holding people accountable. No one's above the law, except if you're a Democrat. We're going to charge you, Donald Trump, for paying off Stormy Daniels, which is not illegal, but for moral sake, which is wrong. 1998, if I remember correctly, Bill Clinton paid, I forgot her name, but he paid his alleged mistress $800,000 to keep her quiet. Like, come on, make this sense. Make it make sense. Doesn't this ruin their case against Trump? It should. And I think if Trump find this video, that best believe his lawyer is going to use it. Because it shows specifically about the Alvin Bragg's case involvement in this. And this is a DOJ. But yeah, him admitting this, it brings some doubt into what happened. Just like with Philly, what's her name? Fannie Willis? Fannie Pack Willis, as some people will call her. The appearance of propriety, this probably helps Donald Trump's case. I want to listen a little bit more into it, then I'll wrap up the live stream.
to work in my office. Before he decided to prosecute Trump, did you know who he was? You do now. I'm not sure what he wants to be, but I know he's not happy just being the DA of New York County. So Alvin's very ambitious. Every real estate person in New York does what he did. Nobody's ever been charged with this.
Okay. Yeah, so it is the fraud case. He is talking about the fraud case. And him admitting this, him outlining, hey, Alvin Bragg's ambitious. Hey, did you know who Alvin Bragg was before he prosecuted Donald Trump? No, no one did. No one knew who this Alvin Chipmunk looking guy was until he prosecuted Donald Trump. Same thing with Letitia James. There's a political motive. You can even say like a status motive. Like there's motives for for reasons why you want to prosecute Trump. You want to be like, oh, when I run for state attorney or senator, I'm the guy who prosecuted Trump. There's political weight to saying that in the Democratic, liberal, left-wing side. Cash and prizes. They're literally using prosecuting Trump as a status game. Jack Smith, you can make the same argument about him too, but this is specifically against his fraud case. This is damning. Hey, Mud Club undercover. Hey, you say what you want about Steven Crowder, but we need more investigative journalism here, and he's providing it. And it looks like he doesn't even know he's being recorded, so you know this is authentic. Like, why would he lie about this? We'll see where it goes, but hey, this is pretty. I think, Trump need to get a hand in this.
Mr. Biasi is just saying the quiet part out loud. The part that unfortunately matters. Lawfare? Yes. Why? Because Biasi openly says so. The ones from Alvin Bragg are a particular perversion of justice. How do you know? Because Biasi says so, and he's known him for 15 years. Election interference? At this point, is there any doubt?
Are those even actual felonies? Because I was pretty sure that...
He was stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case. No, to be honest with you, I think the case is nonsense.
Wow. Hey, I think I've seen enough. This is wow. The case is nonsense, he says. This is well, let me put up the meme because I need to end it off with the meme, bro. It's not a democracy. This is not a threat to democracy. This is a threat to their bureaucracy. This is crazy. Independent voters, we can't reward this. We can't reward a political party like the Democratic Party with this nonsense. We can't, like America, we can't reward this. We can't reward a party that is having people with ulterior motives, because this puts a black eye on the justice system for the government. This makes the government look more illegitimate when it does stuff like this. Or you're using the law to justify your political conquest against another candidate because you perceive him as a threat or a way to boost your popularity, your fame in politics. That sounds like a big political motive. And I know most Americans, this is why he shot up in the polls. And I think this is a white pill for me. Is when I saw he shot up in the polls, I saw the support he galvanized, right? Black people, the ninjas for Trump. You guys know what I'm saying when I'm saying ninja for Trump. The ninjas for Trump in Georgia was like, man, these are fake charges. Free my dog Trump. Bro, that gives me hope. Like, I'm like, okay. Like, people ain't falling for it no more. It's a great sign. It's a great sign. But I think, if we want to make this is like, if we want to make this a namesake, if we want to make this permanent in politics, Trump got to win. I'm just saying, Trump got to win, right? I ain't voting for the convicted felon. I'm voting for Agenda 47. I'm voting for a unity of coalitions of people with different opinion, different perspective, but we all can agree, these solutions, we need to fix this. We need to fix that. Okay, we can come together and fix the issues. And the things we disagree on, we could debate about it. But what kind of unity, what kind of unifying message is the Democratic Party putting out for America? Nothing. Their whole platform is Trump bad, don't vote for him. That's their whole policy. You go on Kamala's website, you go on Trump's website, Trump gives you his policy. He got pen to paper what he's going to do. You can criticize him on his policies. You can point out what you don't like about his policies, but you can find his policies. Kamala Harris, she got billionaires like Mark Cuban reimagining what she said or what she meant by what she said. You can't pin her down on her positions. You don't know what she actually think, what she actually is trying to do here. She fakes an accent when she's a girl from California raised in Canada by 2 PhD parents. And you think she talk like that? Like, make it make sense. There's no way she wins. Look, it's just a matter of time. What is Agenda 47? Oh, cheese work. I got you, fam. I got you. I was going to end it off, but I got you, bro. It's Trump's actual platform, not Project 2025. Like, imagine Democrats, like Kamala Harris talks about misinformation, disinformation all the time. Oh yeah, we're going to censor folks who misinform voters, who talk junk about voters. Agenda 47 is Trump's platform. See? Agenda 47 is not Project 2025. It's not none of that BS. That's Democrat narratives. That's Democrat disinformation. Project 2025 is Democrat disinformation. This is Trump's actual platform. First thing, you go on DonaldTrump.com, platforms, you find it, Agenda 47. And pretty much his 20 promises. This is the quick version of it. He wants to seal the border, stop migrants. He wants to carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. He wants to end inflation, make America affordable again, make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far, which means drill, baby, drill. Stop outsourcing, turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower so we don't have to rely on tariffs. We can bring jobs back overseas. Large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips, the policy position that, Kamala Harris stole. Pretty much what Kamala Harris did was go on Trump's policies, copy and paste this part right here. I'm going to highlight it for you guys. Copy and paste that part and then add it on some proposal. That's what pretty much Kamala Harris did. He wants to defend the Constitution, our bills of rights, our fundamental freedoms, including freedoms of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. This is where him and it's right here. Him, Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy. This is what they agree. This is what they agree about. Kamala doesn't agree with this. She wants to censor disinformation, and she won't even be able to define what disinformation is. Disinformation will be anything that goes against the Democratic agenda, anything that's a threat to our bureaucracy. Yep, it's 47 for the 47th president. Yep, catchy, right? But what Kamala got? I'm about to show you the difference. This is a great way to end off the video. Appreciate the suggestion. This is a great way to end off the video because we're trying to reform American politics, right? You can't reward this garbage. Like, look. I'm going on Kamala's website right now. Let me show you. Look at this. Meet Kamala Harris. That's the first thing. So in Trump's thing, the first thing you see is platform. Kamala's website. No, I don't want to organize for you. First thing you see here is meet Kamala Harris. Personality, volunteer, and then donate money to me. This is Kamala Harris's platform right here. This is what she wants you to vote on. Let's win this. For what? Her platform is just be against Trump. That's it. If you hate Trump, here you go. Volunteer for me. Donate for me. Learn something about me. But I'm not actually telling you what I'm actually for. I'm just going to tell you what I'm against. That's it. That's the Democratic platform. This is why when you ask Kamala Harris supporters, why are you supporting Kamala Harris? Abortion? First black woman? Ricky Smiley? Divine Nine? Symbolism. I want to make history. It's about time a woman ran things. Fake Southern accent. America, man. Those are the choices. Those are the trade-offs. Pick the worst trade-off. Worst trade-off, Donald Trump. By far. From a policy perspective, if you're a policy head, you want a vision. Trump got it. Trump got a vision of what he wants to do in this country. Trump's platform isn't, I'm just anti-Harris. Vote for me. If you don't like Harris, vote for me. Like the media is trying to create this story about. No, the reality is Trump is for something. I'm for secure borders. I'm for prioritizing the interests of the American people. I'm for creating a better opportunity for Americans in this country. I'm for not having inefficient, wasteful spending. I'm for new ideas. I'm for unity. That's the biggest, that's the underrated platform about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's for unity. How can you disagree with make America great again? Make it make sense. Because if America's great, we all win. We all benefit from it. No matter if you black, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, Jamaican, yo, I'm going ham. It don't matter what kind of American you are. If you're an American, you want America to be great. Because if America's great, we get great opportunities. We all benefit from it. We all get a slice of the pie. But Democrats want to make it about race. Make it make sense. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out. I appreciate you guys staying in the chat. I appreciate Cheese Work, Maurice Kelly, Terry Lewis. I appreciate you guys commenting in the chat. I appreciate you all for showing out, coming out. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you guys enjoy tomorrow. You know, it's Friday. You know, people probably getting paid tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I hope you guys have a good time, and I'll catch you guys on next week's show. I think next week's show is also going to be on Thursday because, look, September got a lot of birthdays for my family. And look, I married a Hispanic woman. They got kids like no other, and it's like a lot of September babies. So I'm going to be in South Florida a lot. So I might do another Thursday live stream. So stay tuned for it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.